Okay, so I had to check on the outdoor furniture, move the cushions. I didn't have to because it was already taken care of, but just in case. And you'll hear probably the water from the downspout behind me. I think I got everything out of the rain, or out of the danger of being rained on. All right, where was I? Let's see, I need to move the lamps. Yes, yes. So where was I? I was thinking that I got a nap like I don't have the camera in front of me. Which means I probably won't be talking as much. Yeah. Yep, I'll just be concerned with keeping it in frame. How's that? So you can see this is about the width of the nodule, but it's not nearly as massive as a nodule. Again, I didn't weigh the nodule ahead of time. When I can remember, I'll do it. And we'll see that my yield is about 5% of the original nodule when it comes to the finished point, if I want to make a thin one. Thicker ones are going to be more of a percentage of the finished, more of the percentage of the total weight. So when archaeologists say that it's average 9%, they might be talking about thick points, or maybe even paleo types. Stuff that they've done experimental archaeology with. They like the paleo types, so I think much of the work has been done to try to figure out the characteristics of the paleo types. Not much on the archaic and late prehistoric. Although I do think they're trying, but it's slow. And they don't tell you what type of points they're making when they arrive at that 9%. 9% of the total weight from what they start with is the finished point. They don't tell you what type of points they're working on when they have determined that. There might be an average, but from what? What are they averaging? Oh yeah, that reminds me. A lot of these archaeological studies are publicly funded with taxpayer money. And yet they don't share the data with the public. It should be illegal, in my view. Now you might say, well, you can just go into a library and have access to the artifacts and then gather your own data. Yeah, but we're paying for them to compile the data. They have it. It's not like they don't have the data readily available. They're receiving public funds to obtain the data. All it takes is a few minutes to publish the data, or to make it accessible by uploading it to a database accessible to the public without credentials or without a paywall. Well, you might say that they got the funding because of their credentials. Maybe they had to pay a fee or something to access the public funds or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, if you're gathering data with public funds, you need to publish the data with no restrictions. But they don't do it. Maybe a restriction on the location of a site, that's fine. So it doesn't get looted. But as far as the data that they've been retrieving and compiling, should be available to the public. And that goes for any public agency. All right, that's just a little rant. Just my opinion. So yeah, if I'm doing this like it's just me, like I'm not filming, feels a little strange. But I think that's where I'm going to take the channel. Just going to film everything. It feels a little strange because I'm going to break a lot of stuff. Because that's the way I nap. I break a lot of stuff. Oh yeah. Do I break a lot of stuff because I'm careless? No, I just push the limits on it. I want to know the limits of the material. So I'll push the limits. That's the only way I can get them thin. There might be a different strategy, and I'm going to try to explore different strategies. But for now, my main strategy for getting them thin is to experiment and push the limits. And you rely on a little bit of luck. Yeah, it's not good for production work, I've found. Production work requires a little more predictability. Can't be so random. But with me, if I want to get these things thinned down, I've tried to be very systematic in the past, and it hasn't worked. The technique itself, for me, it doesn't get them thin. It's the risk that gets them thin. For me, anyway. In my experience, taking the risk is what gets them thin. And after a while, it gets less and less risky. True, but still risky. So yeah, if I think I can still thin it down, I'll try it. If I think I'm pushing my luck too much, I'll say, okay, that's good enough. That's what managing risk means for me. Like if the damage control starts getting too intense, I'm doing too much damage control on mistakes or step fractures or something, then I won't do it. I won't continue. Yeah, the symmetry is off. But it's not too bad. Oops. Can't be doing that. I hit the surface. I slipped and hit the surface. Luckily, I didn't put much force in that one. I was just trying to trim a little bit. Now, many times I don't start with the nodule and go all the way through to the end. I will biface the nodule, put it aside, and then biface another nodule, and just spend the day doing nothing but bifacing nodules. But for this one, and for future videos, I will do challenges, but I'm also going to film everything that I knap. I think I said that before. But yeah. Everything within reason. If I'm doing duplicates, I don't know if I'll do a video of the duplicate. Although I might do, if I'm doing a production run of a bunch of duplicates, I might just film them all. Yeah. I'm not going to be doing much of that anymore anyway, so there won't be that many of those types of videos where I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, I don't really need to thin it down too much more. But I see that there's some areas that I could run a flake or two. It's high grade stuff. I don't see any issues. After I skinned off most of the crazing, I don't see many issues here. Yeah, I'm reaching the end of its useful. Reaching the end of what is useful as far as trying to thin. It's raw material, so it doesn't like to be flaked. I'm pushing the limits. I'm going to push the limits a little bit more. Yeah, just looking to see. Good enough. All right. Removing the sharp edges so I can do a pressure flaking pass to regularize everything and see where I'm at. Okay. After I do this, it's much easier to see the thick spots and where I can attack the thick spots. And I can shape at the same time that I'm thinning out the edge. Shape and try to get some symmetry in the outline. Yeah, I normally talk during the pressure flaking, but talking during the pressure flaking is something that I can do, but it's not easy to do. and I'd rather not do. Because then I make doo-doo. Do you get it? I do. So yeah, I got some thick spots I can attack. I like attacking thick spots because it gives me a finished piece that I can look at. I said in the previous video, I'm not really the type of person that likes the journey. I want to see the result. I don't really enjoy this part. Although I can do it under most circumstances. This is a hobby I can do regardless of my mood. But as far as liking each step, each part of the process, I don't know. I don't think I like this process all that much. It can be a high anxiety thing. Unless I don't care about breaking the things. And a lot of times, I don't care. Don't care. I used to break, when I first started, 3 out of 4. Now it's about 1 out of 4, I think. A lot of times I don't have any success at all during the day. I'll break 6 out of 6 or 8 out of 8. Of course, I can make something else out of the points that I break. Make other things. I'm not counting that. Modern nappers have a very open field. They can nap, they can go for all kinds of different types of points. Doesn't have to be a specific type. There'd be a lot more waste if I had to do a specific type all the time. So even though as a modern napper we can pretty much go with the flow, it seems like we still use up a ton of material, more than they used to use. And I don't know if it's because of the way we gather the material. Or the time we have. We've got more time than they used to have. But it seems like even though we can be more conservative with material, theoretically, we still end up using a lot more, I think. Compared to what I've seen as far as debitage on sites, modern nappers produce a lot more debitage, in my opinion. Although that's just based on personal observation. I might be wrong. But it seems like we use tons. Literally tons. And then a lot of us don't use the material that we got. We just have it sitting in our yard forever. I've known people that have gathered literally tons of material and then stopped Flintknapping. And they don't sell the material. They don't nap it. They don't do anything with it. It just sits there. And if you don't do anything with it and it just sits there, it's like you consumed it. Yep, it's consumed. Even though you didn't do anything with it, it's still not available to others. It's like you did consume it. There it goes. That went clear across the porch. Or patio, or front porch. I heard it hit the sidewall. That little flake that took off the step fracture. I'll sharpen it later. That's a little thick. Oh well. When am I going to do narrow notches on difficult material? I can start doing the indirect percussion on the notching. I'm not going to do indirect, reverse indirect. I can do regular indirect on these notches instead of pressuring them all the time. We'll see. I get nervous when I think about trying to make tools on video. I should be filming everything. But if I film making tools on video, that's a whole different ballgame than filming knapping. I gotta have a different setup for the camera if I film the making of the tools part that I gotta do this week. I gotta do it this week. Bite the bullet this week. Because holiday season's coming, I won't be able to spend too much time doing much else than flint knapping. Yep. Now a point like this is good for a pendant and stuff. They don't really sell that well, but at least I get it done. Or I can make it a set, maybe a 3-point set. Yeah, I probably should have thinned that way down before I started notching. Let's see. This is what I usually do. If I encounter problems notching, I'll try to thin it down before I continue. Yikes. I say yikes because it's dicey, risky. Yeah. Got to be super accurate. Yeah, the way that worn down, let's see. It was wearing down in a weird way, so I got rid of the weirdness. Yep. I don't know, there's not much I can do. Now, this is not for thinning down the notching area. This is just for thinning down the stem. Yikes. I got step fracture in the way. So just a damage control flake. Didn't go that far, but it was good. Still good. Yeah, I can't do much more on the thinning. Just gonna have to widen the notches and try to blast through. Why don't I do a punch notching? Just do vertical punch notching. I could just do vertical punch notching like everybody else. I find this much quicker. I find this much quicker and much more conducive to the goal of seeing a finished point. I don't like the process all that much, but I especially don't like using vertical punch notchers. Mainly because I can't see what I'm doing. Mainly. Although I could probably set up the punch so I can see. I could probably set it up somehow so that I can see what I'm doing. Do some exploring on video. Maybe I'll try a different type of punch notching. Was that a good pop out? That wasn't too bad. I liked ending the notch with a pop out. Okay. Yeah, I could have zoomed in the whole time, but it's hard to keep it in frame. But now that I'm used to the material, I might be able to keep it in frame without risking breaking the whole thing. I don't want to break off one of the barbs or one of the ears. That would be a bummer. I'm using what they call passive pressure, or what I call passive pressure. I don't know if anybody else uses that terminology, but I'm just pushing and waiting for it to release. When I do the big pop outs, or the important ones. Push and wait. Yeah, like that. It's not let's see, aggressive pressure or passive pressure. It's not aggressive pressure. It's more passive. I'm waiting for it. Well, tried to wait there. No. I'm going to have to do some aggressive pressure maybe. It's starting to stall. Yeah. Although passive pressure can be used to unstall it, you get knapper's cramp after a while using the passive. All right, let's see. There we go. Yeah, see that pop out dangerously close to the edges of the barb and the ear. Barb, ear. One final pop out. Yeah, that's it. I just need to sharpen that. Yeah, just need to sharpen it. Go around the edges one time. Even out the deltas. I can shape it further from here if I want to imitate a specific point from the archaeological record. I can straighten out the stem or the base. I can adjust it a little bit to imitate a point from the archaeological record, or just make an art piece. Okay, come on. I ground this a little bit too much. When I abraded it to try to thin it down for the notching. So yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to sharpen it completely because I'm running out of time, but I'll do it. I'll continue to sharpen off camera. It's a good place to stop because I'm out of time. I thought you were going to do everything on video, dude. Even including the final sharpening. Final sharpening is not that exciting. Believe me. Oops. There can be a lot of crushing and stupid stuff going on. Good enough for the time that I have. So from nodule to final point. This material is much better than the last one. I'm going to nap as many points as I can tonight. I think I can store 3 hours of video and try to upload it all in one day. Okay.